Good morning, Veritas. Today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. Thank you for all the kids who are still working on some math. So you are awesome if you're watching this video. Okay, so let's get started with number one here. You should have already completed these three problems, and now we're going to go over the answers, but it's very important that you pause this if you haven't completed these problems yet. That way you can see if you can actually do it independently or if you need somebody's help in order to get you to get it correct. Okay, so here's number one. Jesselyn is putting tiles on her kitchen floor. Her kitchen is in the shape of a square. The length of her kitchen is 18 feet. Each tile is 1 square foot. How many tiles does she need to buy in order to complete her kitchen floor? Okay, so she is putting tiles on her kitchen floor. So I'm just going to draw a picture of her kitchen floor. Her kitchen is in the shape of a square. That's important because a square, all four sides need to be the same length. The length of her kitchen is 18 feet. Okay, so it's in the shape of a square, so that means all four sides are 18 feet. Okay? Each tile is 1 square foot. So basically, we're going to find out how many square feet her kitchen is, and then that's going to be the number of tiles, because each tile is 1 square foot. So however many square feet of kitchen she has, she's going to need a tile for every one of those square feet. So the number of square feet is going to equal the number of tiles that she needs to buy. How many tiles does she need to buy in order to complete her kitchen floor? We need to find how many square feet is her kitchen. Okay, so to find the area, since it's a two-dimensional figure, right? It's just a picture with length and width. There is no, length and height. There is no width, right? This isn't a three-dimensional object, so we can only find area of it, which is length times height. So the area is 18 times 18 because it's a square. All sides are the same, and one of them is 18. That means they're all 18. So to find the area, we're going to do 18 times 18. That's going to tell us how many square feet it is, and then since every tile is 1 square foot, that is going to be the number of tiles we also need. So 18 times 18, we're going to start in the bottom right-hand corner in the ones place. We're basically just doing 18 times 8 right now. We're going to ignore the 110. So 8 times 8, 64. Write the 4, carry the 60 over to the tens place. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 6 is 14. Since there's no more numbers to multiply here, right? It's just, we already did times 8 and then times 1. You just write 14 like that. Cross off the number we carried. Our first partial product was 18 times 8, which is 144. Then we're going to hold the ones place here with a 0, with a little smiley face to remind myself that you just have to do that. If you don't do that for two-digit multiplication, then you're going to end up with the wrong place value. Because now we're doing 1 times 8 is 8, but if you look at what numbers we're using here, this is 18, so that's actually 10. So we're doing 10 times 8, which is 80. See how if we didn't put the 0, it would say 8, but it's really 80 because that's the tens place. So we put the 0 here, and now it says 80. Perfect. Then we do 1 times 1, which is really 10 times 10, which is 100. So you just do 1 times 1 is 1, but see how that works out? We're doing really 10 times 10, which is actually 100, and this ends up in the hundreds place. So our second partial product is 180. So you're going to add 144 plus 180. 8 plus 4 is 12. 1, 2, and 3. So there's 324 feet squared, or 324 square feet, because we did 18 feet times 18 feet. So that's feet times feet, which is feet to the second power, feet times feet. Okay, so the answer is 324 feet squared, or square feet. And since each tile is 1 square foot, that means for every 1 square foot, you need to buy a tile. So if it's 324 square feet, she needs to buy 324 tiles. And that is the answer to number 1. How many tiles does she need to buy in order to complete her kitchen floor? She needs to buy 324 tiles. Give yourself some snaps if you got that. Very nice job. Let's move down to number 2. This is just straight computation. It says solve 5,672 divided by 8. 5,672 and we're going to divide that into 8 equal groups. Okay, so I've been drawing like these little models. If I have 8 equal groups, 4, 5, 6, 7, I just drew 8 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They all have to be equal. So the same amount needs to go in all those 8 groups. Okay, so we only have 5,000. So you can't put 1,000 in each group because that would be 8,000. We only have 5,000. So you can't put 1,000 in each group. You're going to put 0 here because 0 thousands. So now we're going to look at it. We're going to combine those 5,000s with the hundreds. So like I've been saying in every video, every place value as you go to the left is 10 times larger than the one before it, right? So tens are 10 times the ones. Hundreds are 10 times the tens. Thousands are 10 times the hundreds. So 5,000s is 50 hundreds. Plus 6 more hundreds makes 56 hundreds. So we're just combining the thousands and the hundreds here. If we had 56 hundreds and we're going to put them into 8 groups, we could put 700 into each of these groups. I'm not going to do it for time, but what we just did was we said that 56 hundreds can be divided by 8 by putting 700 into all 8 groups. Okay? 7 times 8 is 56, so we used all of the thousands and we used all of the hundreds. Now we have 7 tens. If we have 7 tens, but there's 8 groups, I can't put 10 into each group because I'll have 7 groups have 10 in it, and then the last group won't be equal to it because there's only 7 of them and we have 8 groups. So you put a 0 here. You can't put any 10s into each of those groups. 0 times 8 is 0. So we still have those 7 tens left. So we're going to combine them with the ones. Now we're going to say, oh, well, there's 72 ones. If we broke 72 ones into 8 equal groups, we could put 9 into each group. 9 times 8 is exactly 72, so we used all of the numbers. So each group has 709. 709. Okay, so now 709 is our answer. That's the answer to number 2, is 709. If we had 5,672 and we divided it into 8 equal groups, there would be 709 into 8 groups in each of those groups. Each group would have 709. That's our quotient. So let's check our answer real quick. 709 times 8 should give us exactly 5,672 because there was no remainder to add to it. So let's just check quickly that we didn't make any division mistakes. 709, our quotient, times 8, the number we divided by, the number of equal groups, should get us right back to where we started, 5,672. So 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 7 is 7. 8 times 7 is 56, and there's no more numbers to multiply by up here, so you just write 56. 5,672, that is where we started. So we know that our answer of 709 is the correct answer for number 2. So 709, give yourself some snaps if you got that. That's the answer for number 2. Last one, number 3. What is the difference between 18,000 and 1,348? Let's see, I'm going to give myself some space on my paper here to do number 3. We're finding the difference. So what operation are we doing to find the difference between two numbers? We are subtracting. So we're going to do 18,000. When we find the difference, we subtract 1,348. So what's really important is the 1,000 has to go in the thousands place, right under the 8. 1,348. And just be very careful that this 10,000 is off by itself. There's nothing, because this is only 1,000 being added to 18,000. So you got to be careful that your place values are all set up. Difference, 18,000, 1,348. Difference, 18,000, 1,348. I got all the numbers right. Now let's do our subtraction. So you can't do 0 minus 8. If I had 0 ones, I can't take 8 ones away. So we're going to borrow all the way across these zeros. We can't just add 90 to it because now that's 18,090. You can't borrow from here because there's none. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue borrowing. So we couldn't do this, so we had to borrow from here. But since there are 0 tens, we can't borrow one. So we're going to borrow from here. And since there are none, we're going to have to keep going until there's something we can borrow. So now we can borrow from here. And take that, take 1 away from there and call it 7. the original 10 or the original 0 becomes 10. So the ones you go across become 9 because we can't borrow from 0. So we're going to kind of change those to 9s until we can actually borrow from a whole number. So now we have 10. So if you look at this, 17,990 plus 10 is the same thing as 18,000. So all we did was we just kind of borrowed so that we can do this subtraction. When we borrowed like this, it's still the same value. 17,990 plus 10 is 18,000. So we just changed them around a little bit so we can do our subtraction. 10 minus 8 is 2, 9 minus 4 is 5, 9 minus 3 is 6, 7 minus 1 is 6, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So the answer is 16,652. Now to quickly check that, if I did that right, this is hard subtraction when you have to go across zeros. So whenever you have a tough problem like this, it's easy to make a simple mistake. So I'm going to check using the opposite operation. So if I add the difference plus the number we subtracted away, it should get us back to where we started at 18,000. So I'm just going to check this real quickly. 16,652, that's what we're thinking our answer is. If we add the 1,348, we should get back to 18,000. Okay, again, make sure that the 1,000 is under the 6 here in the correct place value, in the thousands place. 8 plus 2 is 10. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is 10, so we're doing good so far. 6 plus 3 plus 1 is 10. 6, 7, 18,000. Yes, so we got back to where we started, so we know we didn't make a simple mistake, and I encourage you to do this when you have lots of subtracting across a zero, because that can get tricky. So the answer for number 3 is 16,652. All right, and that's it. Give yourself some snaps. Nice work. Thank you for being all-stars and working hard. Those are the 3 problems for today. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.